The song is called Beautiful Things. And it's just such a wonderful thing that we can be here this morning. I pray that we would be conscious of that, of where we are, of who we are, of the words that we're going to be singing. Just to get in that mindset. The mindset of being conscious. All this pain, I wonder if I'll ever find my way. I wonder if my life could really change at all. All this earth, could all that is lost ever be found? Could a garden come up from this ground at all? You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. Beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. All around, hope is springing up from this old ground. Out of chaos, life is being found in you. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. Oh, you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. And you make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. Beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of the dust. You make beautiful things. You make beautiful things out of us. Amen.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to 1Mosaic. Good morning. If you guys can believe it, this is the last Sunday in June. Next Sunday is July 1st. This is kind of crazy to think about. So my name is Jamie. I'm one of the architects here. Got a few announcements. We're into our summer schedule where we're doing the once-a-month connection points. So like Contenders, once a month, Rooted. Contenders, which is our men's Bible study. Bride, our female Bible study, and then Rooted 7 through 12 once a month. So speaking of Rooted, today we're doing a service project, so you can leave your kids here if you want. 11:30 we're going to meet in the gym, and they're going to have subs. And then we will provide transportation to go over to Don and Kayla's, and then we'll bring them back here by 3 o'clock. So Don and Kayla, they just got a new house, but the lawn, let's just say I would describe as very full. So it needs some help. So the kids are going to go in there and help serve them. Since it's hard for Kayla to get around and everything, so good time there. So we'll do that today. And then we're still looking for a couple more volunteers to help teach in Route 68. Route 68 stands for grades 6 through 8, in case you were wondering. So we're looking for some teachers there. Contact Stephanie or Evan. Vacation Bible School is going to be Monday, Tuesday, August 13th and 14th, and there's a sign-up sheet at the Welcome Center there, at the welcome table as you walk in the door. Breeze. I like when you work with electronic medical records, and it can be frustrating at times. This is not frustrating. It's kind of nice. So if you guys have gotten the email for the Breeze, continue to sign up. That's how you enter your information, your kids' information. We're going to use it for this church here. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, then please fill out a green information card so you can get the email so you can sign up for Breeze. And then the last thing is the Global Leadership Summit, which is August 9th and 10th. There's a sign up at the welcome desk. This is a great opportunity where very blessed we're part of this too, to have these amazing speakers come in, talk about leadership. If you're a teacher and you need continuing education units, that will qualify. And so sign up is discount until Tuesday, and I believe it's $50 a day. If by chance that's an issue at all, please see one of us, and we can help you out with that. So I think that's it. So why don't you take a quick minute and say hi to someone around you, and we'll get moving. Thanks. Was that okay? I said we'll take care of it.
That's good.
We'll take care of it.
We will, because we already paid for it, so we're going to take care of it one way or another. You can go. I don't know if that works Friday, so Thursday, Friday. Job there. I would if I hold that.
As we continue with worship through song, we're also going to take up communion on this Sunday. And I want us to be conscious and aware of what we're doing as we're doing this. It's such an intentional act, us taking part of the Lord's Supper. It's my prayer that our hearts and our minds will be open and, like I said before, conscious of all of this. I'm going to read from 1 Corinthians here. The night the Lord Jesus was betrayed, he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it, and he said, "This is my body, which is for you. Do this in remembrance of me." There's a lot of weight in that passage. Do this in remembrance of me. And it is not just something that you do lackadaisical, but it's a beautiful way for us to be connected with the Father, be connected with saints of centuries past, and beautiful. In the same way, he also took the cup after supper, saying, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood. This cup is the new covenant in my blood. Do this as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink the cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes." It's a beautiful way for us to express ourselves as family. So when you come up, I'd like for you to come down the center aisles and take the bread, dip it in the cup, and then you can partake with us.
Through the eyes of men, it seems there's so much we have lost. As we look down the road where all the prodigals have walked, and one by one the enemy has whispered lies and let them off as slaves. But we know that you are God, yours is the victory. And we know there is more to come that we may not yet see. So with the faith you've given us, we step into the valley unafraid. As we call out to dry bones, come alive, come alive. We call out to dead hearts, come alive, come alive. Up out of the ashes, let us see an army rise. As we call out to dry bones, come alive. God of endless mercy, God of unrelenting love, rescue every daughter, bring us back the wayward sons, and by your Spirit breathe upon them, show the world that you alone can save, that you alone can save. As we call out to dry bones, come alive, come alive. We call out to dead hearts, come alive, come alive. Up out of the ashes, let us see an army rise.
every chain will break as broken hearts declare his praise. But who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power, fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow. So open up the gates, make way before the King of Kings. The God who comes to save is here to set the captives free. Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power, fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow for the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow. The Lord Almighty. Who can stop the Lord? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power, fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb who was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power, fighting our battles. Every knee will bow before him. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains. Every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Every knee will bow.
Amen, amen. Hey, I want to just take a minute and pray for us real quick. If you just close your eyes for a second, can you turn that down quickly? Song. And I love the dichotomy that song lays out of how big our God is. That he is both the lion that fights our battles, that gets in our face, that corrects us when we're wrong, that's strong for us when we need a Savior who's strong and mighty. And he's both the lamb that was slain, who comes beside us, who's gentle, who's loving, who's caring, who's full of grace. And what I know about this morning is that there's a lot of people here that either need the lion or the lamb. We need something in our lives. We need God to either come in and step in and fight our battles and hold our arms up because we're tired and we're weak and we need more. Or we're in a place where we need this gentle lamb to come beside us, to remind us of how loved we are, to shepherd us, to breathe life and grace and peace into our hearts. And there's a handful of people in our community right now who are experiencing a lot of hurt and tragedy and turmoil. And then there's some of us where life's really good and we're excited and we're feeling filled. And I thank you, Jesus, that you are the Lord who meets both of us, who excites with us and walks with us when things are good, and cries with us and weeps with us and holds us when things are rough. And we thank you that you're big enough to do both. So God, we ask you to meet us here this morning, that your Holy Spirit would fill this place and our hearts and our minds, that we could be that beautiful, radiant bride that you talk about in Scripture. Fill us up and send us out, God, to speak truth and to be light. We love you. And all God's people said, amen. Amen. Hey, you can grab a seat. And man, it's an honor and a privilege today to not teach, but to bring up someone near and dear to my heart and to a lot of our hearts here. By the way, our Haiti team is on the ground. They got in yesterday, and so that's good, and they're serving. And 6 of us fly out this afternoon at 7, so we'll be heading. So 13 of them there, and the other 6 of us will be there this evening. Well, actually tomorrow morning. So continue to pray for them. But I'm gonna bring Andrew Brown up here real quick, and a lot of you know Andrew and Sarah. A lot of you have had some time to connect with them. And this is Andrew and Sarah and the Brown family's last Sunday with us before they head up to the great north. Like way north, huh? Like super far north. Like I've never been that far north.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what your longitude and latitude is, but it's like close to 0. It's really way, or no, I don't know. It's close to 180.
It's up there.
It's way up there.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling bad jokes because I don't want to cry. But Andrew's going to just open up the Word for us this morning and share a little bit and share some of his journey here at Mosaic and speak into you guys. And it is just a privilege to have him do that and to lead us in this time. And when he's done, we'll have a time where you guys will be able to come up and we're going to pray over Andrew and Sarah, and we're going to put them on those stinking stools that have sent so many people out to be the light in the world. But that's what we want to do. And so we're just excited. And Andrew, I want to just take a second and pray for you. But one of the things I know that's passionate about Andrew's heart is leadership. And I told him, I said, I'm just going to do a little shameless plug because we need to.
Good.
But Andrew is actually one of the men that got our faith community connected immediately with the Global Leadership Summit that Jamie referenced. And we believe in it so much, we have pre-bought 20 tickets, right? So we're invested. We have thousands into this. And we want to allow you guys to go. So a lot of our staff's going, a lot of our leadership's going, but we also want to extend that $99 rate to you guys. It is worth it. If you are a teacher and educator, you can get continuing education credits for it. I can print them off for you, get CEUs for coming. So it's all day Thursday and all day Friday, the 8th, 9th, 10th, what I always forget, 9, 10 of August. So please sign up if you're interested at all in the lobby, and that will be a really, really great thing. So with that, let me take a minute and just pray for Andrew, and then we're going to cut him loose, all right? God, thank you for this man, and thank you for his family, and God, I'm glad he's up here and I'm not. So hold him together and let your Spirit speak in and through him. God, I thank you for what you've done in him so that you can do something mighty through him. And same with this family, God. So I'll use him today as your mouthpiece, as your voice box to encourage us in how we are to move and to follow and to listen and to obey, that we might be better followers of Jesus. We love you, and we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Dan. Well, as he mentioned, and as may be obvious, I am a little emotional. It's hard to say goodbye. I'm not real good at it. I'm not a fan of it, to be honest with you, but we've been doing a lot of it for quite a while in some ways. So we're going to blow through some of that, and hopefully the emotions stay intact. But regardless, I reached out to Dan several months ago because, as he mentioned and alluded to, so I've been up north for a while, and my family is finally going to be rejoined or reconnected and joining me tomorrow. So we're heading out tomorrow morning and relocating to the Munising, Michigan area. So, but I started up north in January, and it's been a real tricky time. But before we get into that, let me back up and mention, Dan and the leadership here last summer did an incredible series where they gave a lot of us an opportunity to stand up here and communicate some things that God shared with us. And so I did a little bit of that back in September, and I shared then that a significant passage in series or portion of my life was found in Matthew 4. And I talked about how I had met Jesus about 21 years ago, but didn't follow him fully and completely throughout that 21-year journey. And really, we're going to unpack a little bit of that today. But I shared then that, when Jesus called the first disciples, he made a simple, not easy, like Scott taught us about last year, right? Simple is not always easy. But he made a simple, but not an easy command. And Scott unpacked that same verse even a few weeks ago, to help us all understand that calling is really unique to all of us. It's the same for all of us. We're to come follow Jesus. And again, that's simple but not easy. And I'm going to share a little bit of what that looked like for us as we've journeyed through that. But so I was able to share some of that, and I'm thankful for that opportunity. But then, the leadership took us through recently. They've been taking us through Ephesians, and I've been watching from afar. I haven't been here that often in person, but I've really been thankful because Ephesians is, as we're finding, is an incredible portion of the scriptures. And so, fact is, we're going to land in some of what Dan unpacked last week in Ephesians today. But we're going to flesh it out a little bit because, I think Paul, as he wrote through this, and as Dan and the leadership has done, they tend to make this seem a little bit easy, simple and easy. When you hear Dan's message last week, and if you didn't hear it, please go and watch the podcast or watch that one, because for me, that one was perfect as a father and as a leader and as a person who's trying to build my identity in Christ. That message in particular really hit home for me. And so if you didn't catch it, I would encourage you to do so. And he really honed in on the fatherhood portion of it, and so I'm not going to attempt to touch that much today, other than to say I'm going to illustrate maybe a failure or two of mine in that role. But he did a great job really helping us understand that each of us have a role, and we all have different roles, but we have to play that part, and that theme that we've heard about this year of doing our part is incredibly important. So we're going to look at that. Do I have a picture first, Jeffrey? I think I have a picture, and this is one that I took months ago, before Dan and I even talked about me being able to share anything or what it might be. This is a picture that takes you back to the cabin I've been staying in. And so just for reference sake, my employer's mother has been renting me a cabin as we've kind of made this transition. And the way it was explained to me at first, as far as its location, was It's in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere. Okay. All right. Now, I've never been to the UP in the middle of winter, never been there in the winter, but to go at the end of January and to know that I'm going into the middle of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere, was a little bit daunting in some ways. And so, if you've ever been up there, you know they have some really good primary roads in the UP. Everything after that, not so good. So after you get off any of the primary roads, it's not maybe that uncommon to see a sign like this. And this, in fact, is on the way to the cabin. This started to prompt some thoughts months ago, long before, like I say, Dan and I even talked about this or this verse that we're going to look at, and it became clear. But this certainly applies to the road that I literally take to get to the cabin where I'm staying. But I couldn't help but miss that this really applies to, and hopefully applies to, our walk with Christ. Because it really is, folks, it's a narrow road, and it's a difficult road. And if we don't drive with care, I can assure you, both on this road or in that life of walking with Christ, it's going to be very difficult. And so this is an encouragement that I have had, that I pass almost literally every day to help remind myself to, in fact, walk with Christ. So the verses we're going to look at today, we've seen already, but we're just going to flesh them out again. And it's Ephesians 5, verses 15 through 21. And if we could see those, that'd be helpful. But even if not, you can turn there in your Bible. So Ephesians 5, 15 through 21. And this idea of driving with care or guiding ourselves with care certainly applies when we look at this scripture as well. And so I find that, God lined a lot of this up in amazing ways for us to look at this. So the scripture here says, "Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. Instead, be filled with the Spirit, speaking to one another with psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit. Sing and make music from your heart to the Lord, always giving thanks to God the Father for everything, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Submit to one another out of reverence for Christ." And I'm going to pause and pray right there. God, I pray that we do those things. I pray that we submit to one another, and that out of reverence for you, we love one another, and we try to lead this life in a God-honoring way. Lord, I pray that you would continue to guide and lead, that we would continue to follow and obey. Amen. So again, Dan really unpacked this incredibly well, and so I don't plan on doing so more so than to tell you some points of my life where this really is not what I was doing. I was not being careful. And while I tend to do a little better job of that now, there's several seasons in my life that I could tell you about that was not the case, and I'm going to choose to pick one, maybe two, so to speak. The fact is, and I shared this last time, but regardless whether you're here or not, or here or not that time, I have 6 children. And so, this transition that we're talking about and moving through is quite an impact. If you multiply that out, it certainly isn't just myself, my wife. It plays out in a lot of different ways. And so we went from a family of 4 children to 6 children in a pretty quick fashion. And so what I mean by that is in the late 08 time frame, we decided that we were going to enter the world of adoption and foster care. So we felt led, we felt called into that, no doubt, and we stepped into that in faith. Many of you, in some ways, were walking through that with us even in the early days. We became foster parents pretty quickly through that. And in the early part of 09, Emily and Jacob, whom a lot of you know, entered our home as foster children, January 19th of 09. And they've never left. They've been there ever since. And our family, like I say, grew pretty quickly. And for some of you in this room, you know some of those struggles, but I'm going to spare the details today. But I will tell you guys that season, that decision, that whole process, if you will, to this day, it has been and is the most difficult and challenging part of my life as a man and our life as a family. And I'm not going to get into the ins and the outs or the whys necessarily, but I will tell you that within a matter of days, weeks, and definitely months of this process unfolding in our family, there was spiritual warfare like you cannot believe. And as a man, as a Christian man, I was not taking heed to this scripture. I was not taking heed to many scriptures, quite frankly. I was not being careful. I was not paying attention to a lot of the things that I should have. And the reality set in pretty quickly that we had made a mistake. My wife and I had made an incredibly big mistake. And that mistake was not the adoption itself. That mistake was the adoption itself without a need for God or without a reliance upon God. See, we had 4 children, and we thought we were really good at that. We thought we were really good parents. We thought we had pretty much everything figured out. Work was figured out, home was figured out, the kids were all moving in the right direction, and we had everything under control, and we didn't have a need for, and even a desire for God. We didn't have this reverence for Christ. We didn't have much of what this talks about, and we certainly didn't have what the rest of Ephesians 5 talks about. You know, the part that Dan unpacked so well yesterday, we didn't have that, or last week. He talked about this idea of, is your home heaven or hell? I can assure you, my home many times is more in the direction of hell. Has been, and it is still to this day in some ways. We have some incredibly big challenges in front of us as a family, and I don't say any of this for the sake of posterity or for the sake of you to feel pity. I tell you this because we got ourselves into a situation by not paying attention to God, and those consequences undoubtedly play out to this day. Unfortunately, or I'm sorry, rather fortunately though, God used some situations in our life to help me increase the level of reverence for Christ, and He continues to do so to this day. You know, Scott again talked about this idea last year about these things of not being simple, or simple is not easy, and I apologize, but simple is not easy. This idea of adopting sounds simple. We hear about it even in the news. You hear these celebrities do it, and well, that's not the case, or at least not our case. And so this fact that we never relied upon God through the process really put us in an incredibly difficult situation where I was not leading. You know, Dan talked about leadership and the Global Leadership Summit. I was not leading in a God-honoring way. I was not being excellent in any particular way. Our family was not enjoying life in any particular way, and I was moving us away from God, not towards God, and there was no doubt about that. You know, my call as a husband and as a father was not at all being fulfilled in a God-honoring way. So, you know, the reality is life goes on and time goes on, but I wasn't making the most of any opportunity. I was not living wise. And it says, because the days are evil, therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is. Well, you know, we were coming into our 10-year anniversary, and chaos is really the only word I can use. Our family was quite literally in chaos. And forgive me if I'm not explaining that well enough, but I'm trying to be sensitive to certain ears and certain situations that you can hopefully understand. But I can tell you that our family was undoubtedly in chaos. And with not attempting to follow God as well as I'd like to, it wasn't getting any better. It wasn't getting any different. And we certainly weren't, you know, honoring Him within our home or outside of our home. So, you know, I made an interesting decision. I told Sarah years and years and years ago what music means to me and how music works in my life, and I don't understand music. You know, John Torrance and even some of my family was on this stage. Laura and Reagan, I'm related to. They know music and they know how to make music, and that is such a mystery to me. I still to this day cannot understand it. But this verse encourages us to be filled with the Spirit, speaking to one another with psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit. Sing and make music from your heart to the Lord. Well, again, I wasn't paying attention to these things, but music has always been used by God. I could probably sit up here and tell you 100 songs of 100 different, or 100 stories of 100 different songs that God's used to speak to me. But I'm going to tell you one in particular because it certainly moved me from a place of not paying attention to God and Jesus to doing so. And so in 2009, our 10-year anniversary was coming up, and there was a music festival that was coming. And so I love music of all kinds, of faith, secular music, R&B, rap, you name it. Whatever genre you want to put music into, I love it. And I fully believe that God is powerful enough to use any of those mediums to speak to us and get his message through to us when we need to be spoken to. And this concert in particular was not a Christian music festival. If you would, throw that picture up here. So this was called Rothbury. And this is an aerial view of Rothbury in 2009. So this was a huge 3-day music festival. And some of the acts, I'll tell you, that were kind of headlining this were not, God-honoring guys. I was not pursuing Christ. These were some acts that may or may not know Jesus, but certainly are not preaching that message. So we went to this secular music festival, separated all the kids out, even though there's chaos abounding. We separated all the kids, family and friends helped us out, and we went to this 3-day music festival. And I don't know, we were camping somewhere in the back there. I have no idea where we were, but there was thousands and thousands and thousands of people here. And what's interesting is you came through, this was camping and all that, you came through this area and you had to enter through the same gate, if you will. And then there was 3 different stages of music, and it was music 24/7. And the first stage was kind of like smaller, unknown acts. The second was maybe mid-range, and the third was the headliners. And again, some of those headliners were, so like Bob Dylan was there, and the Grateful Dead was there, and the Black Crowes, and all these bands. 3 days of music, but I'm not there pursuing God. I'm not there thinking about God. I'm thinking about having a good time with my wife. I'm thinking about enjoying the music, not thinking about leading my kids to Jesus, etc. And enjoyed it, no doubt. I'm not going to get into the activities and fun necessarily, but we had a great time. And you always went the same way. You entered into the actual music portion the same way until Sunday morning. And I don't know why, it doesn't matter necessarily, but on Sunday morning, they had completely rerouted the flow of traffic. And so what you knew and what you understood the previous days was no longer the case. And so they rerouted traffic all the way around that first stage where, like I said, some smaller acts were playing. And I can vividly recall this moment where we're walking through. Imagine all these people kind of walking through a small area. So now you're packed with thousands and thousands of people, many of whom aren't maybe all with us, so to speak. There's plenty of extracurricular activities occurring at this festival. And, the reality is, I noticed that the traffic had shifted. I don't think most of us in that crowd had. But what was occurring at this moment was I heard music in the distance from that third stage that was nowhere near where we were at this point. And so Sarah and I peeled off, thankfully. I believe we were called to listen to this, but we peeled off and we made our way back to that first stage that was not really that easy to get to. And we heard a man playing music. And I'm going to play a video, not from that concert, but from this man playing the song that I heard when we got there. Because I believe that God played this song, and I'll explain a little bit more after it. But he called us off, I believe, to hear this and to speak a particular message. So if we can play that video, we'll listen to Chris, and then we'll unpack it a little bit. thousands and thousands and thousands of people walking away or walking past this situation, and it kind of highlighted a lot of things. Now, I don't think Chris is being blasphemous there. I think Jesus walking on the water is a miracle. There's no doubt about it. I think what Chris is illustrating here, at least to me, and that's one thing I like about music, is I could be wrong, but it's what God uses to speak to me. That song illustrates to me that Jesus became a man. And he did so in part to show us how to do it, but he did so in part to show us how to follow him and to walk with us every single day. And guys, this was a huge moment in my life because I'm standing there in chaos. My life is literally crumbling around me. Everything that Chris talks about in the beginning there, when a man loses faith and hope and love and all that, I had none of that in this season in my life. And yet I realized then, God taught me in that moment, I need to follow Jesus. And the other part that song really hit home with me is we are all miracles, guys. God created each and every one of us. And I got to tell you, my heart was full of a lot of nasty stuff at that moment in my life. I had bitterness, resentment, and anger that just filled me to the brim. And it affected every single thing that I did. And so I didn't treat my wife with love. I didn't treat my children with love. I didn't know most of you guys at that point in my life, but I wasn't treating most people that I knew with love either. And so God used this song in this secular, music festival setting that I was not expecting him to be at, to speak unbelievably deeply into me, and this verse again talks about singing songs, and I can't do that. I can't perform that. I can't produce that music, but I certainly know that God uses music and speaks to us through so. And this part there where it says, speak to one another with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. Sing and make music in your heart to the Lord, always giving thanks to God the Father for everything, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Well, again, I can't make that music, but I can hear it, and I can be one of the recipients of it. And God continues to teach me things that I can't explain through music, and there's no doubt about it. But the second part of that I mentioned, the fact that we're all miracles, guys, that's the thing that I feel like I have to at least land on is we were trying to do this, as I mentioned, this adoption thing, this whole life thing by ourselves. We were just entering that journey, and we weren't openly communicating about our struggles. We weren't asking for help. We weren't communicating about our needs, and we were not doing it as Scripture indicates and as that song indicates we need to. We're all miracles, and we need to work through this stuff together. And so I can't help but mention as we leave what an incredible community Mosaic is at walking through life with. I mean, I've been blessed beyond belief. My family has been blessed beyond belief. I pray that as we leave, we land in a community that has some of what we've known to be true here at Mosaic. Because, quite frankly, as I've been up there these last few months and seeking, haven't found much yet, guys. This is an incredible community that we have learned with and grown with and continue to be changed with. And so as we leave, in some ways, I do have a little concern about that because this community has been incredible. And I'm going to share real quickly. I didn't know if I would do this or not, but I will just real quickly. I'm going to illustrate some of what I feel and understand Mosaic to be. There is a draw here and an activity here that I think is almost off the charts. But Sarah and I were here yesterday morning, unloading some things. We've been packing and getting prepared, and it's just amazing to me because as we're unloading at 7 o'clock in the morning, a man walks up to this church, and a man named Paul Secor. Now, I'm not going to share Paul's story with you. That's not my place to do, but I will share this aspect of Paul's story with you. I'll tell you this, that at 7 o'clock in the morning, he approached me and asked for help. And he stood and looked me in the eye, and when I say help, wasn't asking for money. He was asking for somebody to listen to him. He was asking for somebody to talk with him. And he was asking for somebody to love on him. And it was an incredible moment that Sarah and I were able to share together. And it happened here at this building, I believe, in part because there is an activity here that we are really, really thankful to be a part of. God is moving in this community, not just Mosaic, but this entire community, and we've seen it and been a part of it, and it's really been an enjoyable part of our last couple of years here as we've called this our church home. And so God just continues to speak through us and speak to us in some ways that grows that reverence for Christ in my life and in my wife's life. And I've watched her in this transition continue to be moved and to move people into a deeper relationship with Jesus. And so I'm just incredibly thankful for that. I don't have any incredible words of wisdom, but I do just want to tell you that I love every one of you, and I'm going to miss each and every one of you. It's been incredibly difficult to think about community and be ready and preparing to leave it at the exact same time. So it's been rather difficult, but it has been an honor, and I thank you guys to the nth degree. I can't do so fully, but you guys have blessed our family and spoke into our family and grown our family in ways that I can't thank you enough, but I will tell you that I love you. So I love you, and thank you very much. So, Dan, yeah.
I'm going to transfer a life right here. Hey, well, I'm coming up here. Sarah and the Brown kiddos, will you guys come down here, please?
Yeah.
And I'm going to get these stupid stools out once again. We don't have enough for your family, bro. I'm sorry about that.
Sure that.
So Emily and Jacob and Sam and Simon, all you guys are just going to have to stand around Mom and Dad. But as they're coming to the stage, I want to share something, too, that's really special about Andrew and Sarah, is they have only been part of our faith community for the last 4 years. We're coming up on 8 years as a faith community at 1Mosaic, and what makes them so unique? Look at this beautiful family. Man. Don't cry. That's the rule. Look, he's just sitting down like a boss. I'm sitting.
That's how they roll,
that's
man.
Right. Let's not change things, man. That's just how it rolls. That's okay. What's so unique is you're going to see in a minute here the love and connection that Andrew and Sarah and their family have here. Because what's kind of ironic and still heartbreaking is literally just over a year ago, within days, we prayed over Andrew and Sarah and their family because they had tragically lost their niece and her brand new baby in a car accident. And we just watched floods of you come forward and stand around these guys and pray with them and continue to do life with them. And that is because they have chosen to do life with you. And I really believe in what Andrew just said, that we have to come together. We have to do our part. We have to be the church. We have to invite people in. We have to listen. We have to be open. We have to be raw about where we're at. There's too many people in this county, in this country, that sit in a church building for 20, 30, 40 years of their lives, and yet no one knows their story. No one knows anything about their heart. And that's what I appreciate about these two and their whole family is they wear their heart on their sleeve because their heart is Jesus' heart. And they come in, and so Sarah started Real, our adoption and foster care ministry. Andrew came in, took the reins over for Iron Tribe. Andrew was the catalyst in launching, getting us part of the Global Leadership Summit. Andrew was also the catalyst, along with Greg Kinney, to get us in this prison ministry and get this thing up and running. Andrew's been committed to Bride. Sarah's been extremely committed to Bride. Their kids have been part of our youth ministry for years. So they come in. Did I just say something wrong? Andrew, good, thanks. These are my ears right here. When they laugh and they start looking at each other, I know I said something wrong. Thank you for being part of Bride. He's praying for you, ladies. He needs to pray for you. We all need to pray. No, Andrew's been part of Contenders. Sarah's been an incredible part of Bride. And just so they have done so, but they came in and they chose. They didn't just come in and choose to sit. and do nothing and not share their story and not share their life. They came in and they were open and they got involved and they did things. And I think that's an incredible challenge for us as adults down to kiddos, is that they came and they're open and they're here and they show up and they serve and they help and they get involved. And so I just want to say thank you guys for being an incredible example of that. Just an absolutely outstanding example, your whole family. I'm just proud of you guys for that. And Munising is going to be a better place because of this tribe, okay? There's no doubt. And so there might be Mosaic North starting, maybe in Munising, okay? I am not going, but we'll send some money and some funds your way if you want to plant a church. That's great. Mosaic North, Lee's in. He's good. No, he's out. So listen, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have my wife come up, and she wants to share a couple things. And I think some of the ladies are coming up. And then in a minute, I'm going to have our staff, leadership, and any of you that want to come forward as we close our time with Andrew and Sarah. Can you hold this and all these? You want to? Wow.
Okay, I wrote some notes real quick. So for 8 months, guys, Dan and I have been trying to think, what are our words? What are our send-off words? And even this morning, this is what we have for you. From the Lord, okay, is 8 words. It's not too late to change your mind. Okay? From Jesus to you. So a couple other things. They call it the UP. Dan and I call it Wisconsin. So I'd like to make that a note that this is actually another state. We don't recognize this as Upper Peninsula or whatever. But we also have a different definition, Sarah, of sister. And a few of us, Laura and I and Sherry, we are really your sisters. But ladies, could you stand up, bring your travel mugs with you, if you would call Sarah your sister. Okay. And come on up, ladies, come all the way up. Sarah, I want you to pay attention to the impact that you've made. We have our travel mugs because if you know Sarah, it doesn't matter if it's 7 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock at night, Sarah has her travel mug. There you go. So Sarah, our Bride Tribe mugs are more than just a piece of metal. These are our symbols. These are our reminder of you and how present you've been with us. So Sarah, we chose you to be our sister because you're fiercely humble. Because the number one thing I will remember about you is how committed you were to God's word. And when you fall, you get up. And when you fall, you get up. And when you fall, you get up. But God's word, Sarah, has a really, really loud voice in your life, and it's obvious. And as much as we don't like that you're going to Wisconsin, we would like to ask you, Sarah, to go and make a huge impact again. Don't go to that God-forsaken part of the world and stay inside your 4 walls, but instead, Sarah, make a big, huge, noisy, honest, humble impact and show this part of the country your reverence for God's word. All right, so Sarah, the most important thing that I want to thank you for, because I've done this privately but publicly, is in your adoption story, my favorite part is that as we prayed together, you owned your peace every time. And we would not pray that your kids would change or that the story would get easier, but we prayed for your prayed for your biological kids. We prayed for your the kids that you chose to bring in. But every time, Sarah, our focus was on you and what you could do different and how you could be a more godly wife and mother. And it was the most inspiring thing. And we love you. And Simon.
It's dusty up here, isn't it? It's just dusty. So then this is the fun part, is the rest of you who have been impacted by Andrew and Sarah, I'm going to go ahead and invite you. So staff, leadership, and any of you that want to come up and just come up and fill this stage. Okay, you can stand on the steps. You can stand wherever.
a second, please? As everybody's making their way down here, Spirit was speaking to me as Andrew was wrapping up to give him and his family this word. It's, for those of you that don't know me, we've been around the world a few times, and every time that we go somewhere, this is something that we take on. But it wasn't too long ago where, I think it was Pastor Dan, I can't remember who it was, but there was a teaching, and it kind of finished up with matches, right? That was you, Dan, right? Matches. So everybody took home their matches to be the light, to start a fire wherever they go. I still have mine sitting on the counter, and I wish I had some here to give to you all again as a reminder, but the whole family, each one of you has a match to take with you and to be that fire. And I tried to look up the scripture, but I'm not good at memorization, so I'm going to paraphrase. Here we go. This is what the Spirit gave me. And the Lord said, "Whom shall I send? And who will go for me?" And I said, "Here I am, Lord. Send me." So it's not that you're leaving, you're being sent, you're being called. And if you can't find that body that resembles Mosaic, that's because God sent you there to start something that you have built upon here.
Amen to that. Okay. Mosaic North is coming. Okay. Will you all stand with us and let's pray. Let's pray for Andrew and Sarah. If you guys just want to put a hand on someone close to you here and get around these guys, and let's pray for them. Lord Jesus, here we are. And we are a family that's united under something so much bigger than any one of us. We're united under your Spirit, your Son, your grace, your mercy, your forgiveness, and your calling. And God, forgive us for times when we want all the grace and the mercy and the forgiveness, but we close our ears to the calling. We close our heart to the calling. I'm thankful for Andrew and Sarah and their family. I'm thankful that they hear the calling, that they listen and obey, that they jump in, that they're not fearful, that they know who created them, they know who calls them, and they know who's gone before them. So God, we are thankful for our time with them. We're thankful for all that they've breathed into us, the truth, the hope, the wisdom, the life, the authenticity. And God, as Brian said, now we want to send them. We want to send them to be the light. We want to send them to do what you've called them to do in northern Michigan. We pray, God, that you would flow out of them, that they would be obedient, that people would continue to see who you are and how great you are because of what you've done in and through them. And God, we pray for this community back here as some holes are opened up and there's opportunities for others to step up and step in. And God, just as Andrew and Sarah did 4 short years ago walking into this community, they stepped up and they stepped in and they got plugged in. And I pray, God, that you would fill those holes and those voids in this faith family. And that you continue to grow us and stretch us, that we'd always be a sending agent for you. God, that we wouldn't worry about seating capacity, but that we'd worry about sending capacity. We want people to go in and advance your kingdom for your glory. We're not building our kingdom here, we're building yours. So God, go with this family, use them in mighty, mighty ways. We love them, and we love you. We trust them, and most of all, we trust you. So we send them now. And we pray all this in the powerful name of Jesus. Amen. 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 Yeah, let's give them a big round of applause. Oh, man, get one of those. So we're going to finish with this as everyone's kind of making their way back. This is kind of cool because Andrew, as you heard, music is a big part of his story. And so John Torrance has written a song for Andrew and the Brown family. And so we're going to take a minute and we're going to close out just by corporately engaging in this song together. And then we're going to have the Brown family kind of escorted out into the lobby area, okay? And when we're done here, if you guys could go get your kiddos and get them checked out. We have a couple cakes out there just to celebrate our time with Andrew and Sarah. So if you guys want to grab a piece of cake before you go, give them a hug, love on them a little bit, that would be really, really great. So let's stay standing and let's engage in this last song with John.
It's amazing the way God works. When I was talking with Andrew about this, I was asking him if there's a particular song that he'd like to end with, something that's meaningful to where he is. And he didn't have anything in particular. And I don't usually feel this when I'm talking with somebody about like putting together the songs, but I felt led to write something. And so it just took about an hour, just me and a guitar, thinking about Andrew and his family and just the impact that they have. And the line that was in my head right from the beginning was, "Lead me in your love to those around me." And so starting with that line, just things fleshed out and came pretty fast. And so I just pray that the Lord could use it. Lead me in your love to those around me, when all I know is all I've been shown. Your love far outweighs my understanding, and teach me what it is to be whole. Your heart leaves a mark that speaks of justice. You know the pain, you feel the same things. Your heart bears the mark that will connect us. In the light of truth, there's no shame. Life is ever changing over. Time will not stand still. May our hearts bear the light you shine on. Hope that Christ fulfills. The hope that Christ fulfills. When I'm weary at your feet, have mercy. When I'm strong and carry on, show grace. When I turn away, show me your brilliance. Let the light of your love show the way. Let the light of your love show your face. Life is ever changing over. Time will not stand still. May our hearts bear the light you shine on. The hope that Christ fulfills. The hope that Christ fulfills.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. We might put that one in the rotation. Hey, treasure boxes are by the door on your way out. Cakes in the lobby. Listen, 1Mosaic Church May we continue to be the family and the followers that God has called us to be. May we run from simply being a fan of His to truly being a follower and a disciple of Christ. May we continue to make a mark on the spheres of influence that we have, and may we continue to take the light into the darkness. Grace and peace be with you all. Have a great week. Bless God. We'll see you guys next week.